Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AEW Rewind podcast, where we talk all about All Elite Wrestling. Last week, we had a bit of a technical difficulty problem, so we didn't have an episode of last week. But if you're hearing us this week, that means everything's sorted out. This week was the first night of Fyter Fest.
And what a great show this was. And next week's going to be even better. We'll get into it then.
Next week should be even better.
Next week's going to be even better than this, in my opinion. But we started off hot with this tag team.
Yes, the first match on the night was MJF and Wardlow versus the Jurassic Express. But also note that Chris Jericho was on commentary for most of the night, and he was dressed up for Canada Day, and he really liked talking about Canada Day.
Yeah. He really elevated these matches, too. The matches were really good, but he said some funny lines.
He had some funny lines this night. Probably the most was in this first match, and it was
and he kept
hilarious.
He kept calling Excalibur like an idiot and stuff, so that was really funny. But yeah, he really helped out. Basically, they should always do this. Just always throw Jericho on commentary. I mean, if he's
especially for the biggest matches, because he always kind of seems like it's even more important than it already is.
Yeah.
So before the match started, there was a pre-match promo from MJF being very vulgar against Jurassic Express, especially Jungle Boy.
Yeah, and he said we're in a ratings war, and they need me to beat NXT. He didn't say NXT obviously, but they need me to win the ratings. Which they started off this show really taking shots at NXT, WWE, whatever you want to call it, and Taz also took some shots. So this was a pretty fun night for that kind of stuff.
I watched the show too, but I'm perfectly fine with them taking shots this week. Right now they kind of deserve the shots. Yeah, it's been so because we'll talk about later how something that's happened there has impacted the next week's show.
The main title picture of the show.
Yeah, basically the main title picture has been impacted by an event that happened in WWE, which we'll get into that a little bit later. But go early on with this tag match. The Jurassic Express are all business going into it because there's no posing for the fireworks. It's just they're instantly right to the ring,
right into it.
And this match was a great way to start the show.
Yeah, I think they knew how big this match was for them, and I think they knew how important it was to start off on a good note for the show to keep the viewers in and stuff like that.
I mean, they also had all those other things added in over the commercials to try to get people to stay.
And they lived up to expectations. I mean, this was obviously a combination of the two great singles matches we saw previously with Jungle Boy and MJF, and then Luchasaurus and Wardlow, but they just combined it, and there was more action, more different angles there, a lot of different cool spots.
Mm-hmm. There's that part where they all had a face off, and there's a kip up that where they all came up to stare at each other right in the face.
Yeah, that was amazing. That would have been a spot where the crowd would have been freaking out. The crowd was freaking out, but a legit, real crowd, not wrestlers. That would have been a great spot there, and I think there would have been a huge pop.
There's lots of close roll-ups. There was a low blow spot from MJF, and they were able to get a really close kick out. There is, Luchasaurus and Wardlow doing their big man, but doing athletic things. It was great.
Yeah, and again, Wardlow is improved. He's showing everybody what he can do, because not too many people knew what he could do until that lumberjack match. Obviously, he had a great cage match, but that lumberjack match for me was really the turning point for me. I've always liked Wardlow, but that was, to me, that match where he was okay, he's legit. And Luchasaurus was also battling an injury a couple months ago, and you can tell he's pretty fully healed with that now. He's doing a lot more. And it was just a great match for everybody. And we'll get into the pin here, but MJF didn't take a pin, which was good, but there was that little, there's still that little tension there between Wardlow and MJF.
Because there's a big, they kind of had there was a accidental contact to happen close to the end of the match, which it seems like there's some disillusion going on because MJF started yelled out to him, "We can't do anything right," and this follows up with after they singled out Wardlow for Luchasaurus to get a kick and a standing shooting star to get the win get the pin on Wardlow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with MJF and Wardlow now. Obviously, MJF didn't get the pin, so he can use that against him. Like, he can use that for him, obviously, but he didn't get pinned yet. So I don't know if
There's
they're
gonna be
going to...
something with
Yeah.
like saying that that Wardlow isn't holding up like his end of the bargain to these like being a team, I guess, or
Yep.
being a bodyguard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really say about this match. It really,
The
set
only
the
thing is
tone.
that I think some of Jericho's funniest lines are in this match. Like at one point where Jericho was talking about Luchasaurus when he was like, "He's a Mothra, he's a flying dinosaur," and Excalibur was like, "You mean Ghidorah?" And then Jericho was like, "Shut up."
Yeah, and he was also like saying, I forget, he was saying some dinosaur jokes, but now I'm blanking on them. But he's just like a natural on the mic. I mean, I mean, we all know
He's
that, but
always,
like
yeah, of
for
course.
like commentary, like, like fast paced, like, on his own, like not thinking about things before, like it's crazy how good he is, like on the fly.
Mm. And he was putting over Wardlow, being like, he's got red chips, white chips, he's got all the chips.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool to see Jericho. He wasn't really like hating Jungle Boy because you know how they had a little feud there.
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, sure, it's always, but he was really helping put Jungle Boy over. He was really kind of a neutral fan there. Obviously, he didn't like Luchasaurus a little bit there, but I mean, he was pretty neutral with this match, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, so after this, we learn about next week after the show, there's going to be a puppy battle royal.
Yeah, and then I was expecting like blood and guts, and then we're just gonna do it because they had a countdown. I was like, okay, what is this? Like a
And
countdown to
then,
what? And then you had dogs and like dog toys, and I was like, wait, are they releasing dog toys or is it? And then they said puppy bowl, and I was like, well, I don't know how much. I don't know how this is
I don't
gonna
know
work.
I don't know what they're going to get out of that, but they
I'm
can do
trying to
whatever they
think.
want.
Trying to think of a wrestler that could be involved with that. I'm trying to think of somebody that they'll put in that.
As
But
like a commentator.
yeah, or like just involved in the puppy bowl or something, and like takes a bump from a puppy or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
trying
I
to
don't
think.
know what's going to come from that. I don't know if I'm even going to watch it, but it's just something that they just threw out there, and I was like, wow, I can't believe we're actually doing it.
It's 2020. I mean, what else haven't we seen in this 2020? So
And from SCU put out for their new shirt, 2020, the worst year we ever lived in. So
yeah, I might buy that honestly. I really want to buy that shirt.
maybe. So
But
the next segment that happens on the show is we have a fight breaks out between Joey Janela and Lance Archer because they have their match happening next week.
I honestly can't wait for that. It's pretty obvious that Lance Archer's probably gonna get the win, but I'm sure Joey's gonna take some crazy bumps.
It's gonna be over the top in some way.
Oh yeah, I'm sure somebody's gonna. This could just go straight like Extreme Rules, like not. I mean the belt, like, it might just go like they might put someone through a table, like those kind of things. So I
I
don't know.
almost kind of wish this match is gonna be like a no DQ match.
I feel
That's
like they should add that, but I mean, who knows?
like I feel like a no DQ match between Archer and Janela could go crazy.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm blanking. Sunny Kiss will play a role.
Mm. So the next match on the night is for the AEW Women's Championship between Hikaru Shida, the challenger, and the champion, against Penelope Ford, the challenger.
And again, I mean, I talked to you about this before, like last week. I wasn't looking forward to this match, but Penelope Ford really impressed me, honestly, and it was a better match than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It was a solid match. I mean, it wasn't like amazing, but I mean, I think for what they had, I think they really delivered. And I think
Yeah,
Penelope Ford could be a star, but she obviously still has a lot of room to grow and some things to work on. But I mean, solid match in my opinion.
I feel like there's always like a sense of urgency in this match. Like there is always someone trying to get like a quick roll up on the other one, or like right away, Shida went for a Falcon Arrow to try to win like in like 30 seconds the way she did, I think last week on Dynamite.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty much high tension throughout and leading up to this. So you know, it was just like a matter of time, and now they finally were able to, you know, wrestle.
There was that
So
one pin where Shida hit the Falcon Arrow, but then Ford like immediately countered into a roll up of her own,
yeah,
and the pin was so close. I thought he almost had him.
that was a really, really cool spot. I didn't think Penelope would lose the belt, so I wasn't, but I was kind of shocked, like you, about how close that was. That was a really, really cool spot. Um, with Penelope, she has such good like flexibility, and she can do a lot of cool things, as we saw with that she did that like Matrix spot thing where
Like the
she like
back bridge.
yeah, so she can do a lot of cool stuff that probably many people haven't seen before in the ring. So that's something she brings, and there's a lot of cool spots.
Yeah, and of course, playing into the end, in the right before the match starts, there's a bit of a shoving between Shida and Kip Sabian, which gets him ejected. He takes the kendo stick with him, which later he would come back out and try to use the kendo stick for its advantage. But
Did you see how he acted like it was a cigar when he was leaving? He like tried to smoke it like a cigar, the kendo stick. It was really funny, I thought. But he went back into the locker room, and then you know he comes back out like you said.
he comes back out, tries to get the advantage with the kendo stick, but Shida gets it and then uses the kendo stick back on Sabian, which then leads up to to Shida winning the match with the knee strike to retain the title.
Again, like I said, solid match, a bunch of cool spots, but this is probably one of my favorite women's matches, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
that they've done, and I think both of these like these wrestlers raise their stock or their value to the company, and it'll
Yeah,
be interesting to see where Sheeta goes now because you have Nyla Rose, who I don't think they'll rush a rematch that fast, right?
yeah, I don't
And
think
then Big Swole is probably the next person up, I'd imagine, because
maybe.
Chris Statlander and Britt Baker are out. Abaddon, I don't think would get it this early.
Yeah, not this early.
I don't know where they go. It'd have to be Swole or Nyla Rose for me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think this match and Shida's match with Nyla Rose are two like the best women's matches they put on recently.
yeah, for sure. And then they had a couple like fatal four-way triple threat matches, what I thought was pretty good. But these like single matches, like yeah, this was definitely one of my favorites.
So the next segment they have is a vignette from Taz talking about Moxley's technique. And basically, the bottom line is basically Brian Cage has some thick muscle mass, and because of that, he will have a hard time hitting the paradigm shift.
He's too big of muscles to do the
Basically,
paradigm shift.
yeah, Brian Cage is a thick boy equals Moxley struggling on the paradigm shift. That's basically all we had to know.
Yeah, I'm a big Brian Cage guy, as you know. But man, I really hope he doesn't lose, but I think he's going to. They're just putting him over so much right now. Like I just want him to go in there and beat him in like 30 seconds. I don't know why,
That's
but
a good point because I've been thinking about it with all this going on. I feel like I feel like he has a good chance of winning.
I hope he does because I just think, especially with, Renee having corona, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to stay at home with his wife for a while. I don't know. We'll still
Mm.
see. I mean, either way is okay for me, but I really want to see Brian Cage win, mainly because I'm a little biased towards Brian Cage.
Mm. So the next match on the night is for the TNT Championship. Cody defends against Jake Hager.
And again, last week we said this was kind of like the Brody Lee. Like this match is either gonna like be really really bad or really really good.
But even behind the scene, like going into it, we were both like, "Well, this match probably isn't going to be that good."
Yeah, but honestly, it kind of was in the middle. Like it wasn't really
It
really
was in the
bad, but it
middle.
wasn't really really good. So I thought
Yeah, I
this
couldn't
was
say this was a
Hager's.
bad match.
Yeah, I think this was Hager's for sure his best performance in an AEW ring. Again, I mean, he's not amazing, but I think he had a solid match for this belt. And Cody had a good match. It was a slow
Mm.
build, kind of MMA and like wrestling kind of tactics, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Cody was gonna go straight into this, like there's like lots of grappling early. Like it was all like grapple based attacks and submissions.
Yeah. Well, Cody used to be a high school wrestler, so
Yeah.
he's really good with all that kind of stuff. Like he knows all about it. So, and Hager obviously has the MMA background and a wrestling background. So it was just like a slow kind of match. Obviously, we're used to more of the new style where it's like high paced kind of thing. So it was honestly a
Mhm.
solid match. It just that's not what we like seeing most of the time.
Yep. And let's see, there like other things involved, like there's lots of like outside interference that are happening in this match. Like Hager's wife gets involved at one point. Hager goes after Arn, and the ending is pretty much some outside interference happens in there.
Yeah, I mean, Cody keeps teasing that he's going heel. I feel like there's a lot of heel shenanigans going on for
I feel
Cody.
like Cody could just turn heel at any moment, and honestly, I wouldn't really be too surprised.
Because then whoever wins the belt from him would be a big baby face, I feel like.
Hmm.
But the thing is, like, if Cody's a heel, people are still gonna like Cody. I mean, we all know how much how many people love Cody. Like
Yeah,
anything he does, the crowd loves it.
even with like him turning heel, people could really like him just because they think he's like a pretty like cool heel. I don't know what to say. Like,
And I mean, obviously, we're in a new era of wrestling where the heels get cheered, etc. But like, I don't know how much. Like, I feel like when he's a heel, he's gonna be like a hateable heel. Like, not like I don't know.
that's true. He
I
could
don't
be
think he
really
can be the.
hateable.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the ending of this match goes down where like Dustin comes out close to the end because of Arn being attacked, and Hager's wife getting involved in the match, which causes a little bit of a distraction. And Cody was able to get a roll up counter to Hager's arm triangle to get a pin on Hager to retain the TNT championship.
And honestly, it was really funny. I laughed when Jake Hager got up and acted like he won. I
It was
was,
a good
I was
finish, I think.
what you didn't? Did you say you liked the finish or you
Yeah,
didn't
I
like
think
it?
it was a good finish.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of didn't. It gave Hager some positives because he didn't lose off of like a finisher, so he got
And there
some
was
cushion
lots
there.
of outside interference in this
Yeah.
match.
And I'm sure they're not done yet with that, but I mean, it'll be interesting because I'd imagine he's gonna defend that belt at Fight for the Fallen,
Yeah, I bet he
and
will.
I think July 15th is the date that the WWE contracts end. I think maybe
Hmm.
not though. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just thinking of anybody who would show up for that belt.
I can see it because that's definitely the like the way to introduce new wrestlers into the company right now would be through this TNT championship and the way
Yeah.
Cody's been defending it.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see where they go with Cody's gimmick and like if he's turning heel, etc. What they do with FTR, if they're trying to do a F4 Horseman thing, and then obviously interested to see who AEW would sign
Mm.
out of these batch of wrestlers that got released.
So the next segment they have was a vignette from Darby Allin saying that once again he is not medically cleared, but he still can skate.
Yeah, and he still can set people on fire and
Yeah,
do a
I
bunch.
was like, when I saw him setting himself on fire to skate off of it was like a ramp or whatever, and I was like, is he like how not medically like how injured is he really at this point?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a gimmick that they're trying to do where he's not hurt, like he just says he's not medically cleared to wrestle. Um,
Because if he can literally set himself on fire, I think he should be fine to wrestle.
yeah, I mean, I don't think. I mean, again, we don't know the injury. I think if it would be anything, it would be that ankle that he landed on when he tried to do that move in the ladder match.
Hmm.
But honestly, I think this is best for Darby to kind of put him off the screen for a while and just have him show up randomly. Um, he's
Yeah,
obviously way
connects with the
more
people.
effective when there's a crowd, which is
Yeah, way
unfortunate.
more effective.
I mean, he's still really good wrestler. But
Yeah,
I
of
mean, like
course.
when his music hits,
The
that
crowd
place
goes
goes nuts.
crazy,
Yeah,
and
yeah. So hopefully, again, I doubt it, but maybe since Daly places outdoors, Florida's kind of getting smacked right now with this virus.
Oh yeah, they're getting smacked really bad right now.
Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know when fans will be able to come back, but hopefully, we say this every week, but hopefully it can be in a relatively short amount of time, like maybe August, late August, September. We'll see though.
Mm-hmm. So the next match on the night is Proud and Powerful Santana and Ortiz versus the Private Party, which Orange Cassidy joins the announce table, and Jericho is just like apoplectic because of this, and he says he's throwing off his game.
Yeah, and Cassie's literally just went up there, pulled the chair out, and just sat down. He was just chilling with the plant behind him. He was having a good time. I mean, he was
And the
just.
rest of them are like, he didn't do it. He's not even doing anything. He's just sitting here.
Yeah, I
And
knew
Jericho
that
is just
something was
pissed.
gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, they were saying he didn't even move like the whole time, which is kind of funny if that was true. But yeah,
It wouldn't like surprise me in the least if that's actually true.
I couldn't. Okay, so I can't keep a straight face for that long, so I can't even imagine having to be like his gimmick's obviously amazing, but like I couldn't imagine him not trying to laugh so many times
Hey,
because
I
I
mean,
feel like
he would have to have practiced his gimmick and for so long that he's basically ingrained
yeah,
into him.
it's crazy.
So this match was of course another really good match on the night. It's the tag team wrestling has been really good recent with the show.
Yeah, and they have some really good chemistry together, both teams. And it was really cool. Also, Matt Hardy being out there kind of gave that little cool feel there because obviously Matt Hardy was in one of the best tag teams of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a really fun match. I mean, we'll get into it more, but I was kind of surprised about the result. But I mean, it was a solid match.
I was a little surprised, but then later it's kind of like it kind of makes sense what they say later.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But there's lots of good double team actions happening throughout this match from both teams. Like there's like a springboard DDT from Ortiz that was kind of like a double team move. They did there, and over the picture-in-picture, Santana and Ortiz do their like double team submission that they do quite often.
Yeah, they just have such great chemistry. So does Private Party, and it was a really fun match that they put in here. Really no huge like. I don't know what the word is, but there's nothing really on the line, I guess. Like not a tag team, but like it was just like okay, these two people are having a little bit of an issue. We're gonna put them in a match, and they delivered. I mean, can't really. I mean, this is what AEW has to offer: just tag team wrestling that's good, even if it doesn't even mean for a belt. Obviously, we do learn though that this technically was for a number one contendership for next week.
Yeah, and of course, like the chemistry between both these guys is like incredible. There is like a twisting senton Isaiah Cassidy at one point. There was a like also earlier Santana let Isaiah give the first shot because I think they said that Isaiah and Santana have like some history from when they were learning in wrestling school.
I think it was House of Glory. I forget. It's like an independent promotion. It's a pretty big independent promotion, but that's where
it's like up in New York.
Yeah, so that's where they kind of have their chemistry originally, and it's good. I mean, it's obviously great that they had chemistry leading into this, because that even elevated the match even more. But yeah, like I said, great, pretty solid match. I wouldn't say great match, but it was a cool finish.
It was just a well wrestled match.
Yeah, I mean, again, Private Party. It was kind of surprised me that they won, but I don't mind it.
It was a good finish too, I thought, because at one point Matt Hardy stopped Santana from using the Mad Ball, and Proud and Powerful go for the Street Sweeper, which Quinn was able to counter by pulling the bandana on Santana's head over his eyes, and then they were able to use the gin and juice on Santana to get the win.
Yeah, that finisher is really cool. And did you see Ortiz when he was trying to save the pin?
Yeah, he like dived in, like it was like really
flopped
close
on the ground.
Yeah,
it was really funny. He's really good at selling that stuff.
And it was like when he jumped in, like it was like just a second too late.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. Inner Circle's kind of taken some losses here. I mean, I don't know what they do, especially with Sammy. That whole thing, and I don't know where Inner Circle goes after this week.
I think they've been doing this because early on to Dynamite's like lifespan, I guess, the Inner Circle were just like the dominating force that were beating everybody, pretty much from all their outside interference and all this. So I think now they're kind of like pulling back just a little bit on the Inner Circle.
Yeah, I mean, again, I like the Inner Circle, but it's just kind of surprising me how fast they're taking all these losses right now. The thing will be if Cassidy wins
I,
next week.
you see, I think that's what's I don't like. I don't think it's gonna happen. Do I really wish it's gonna happen? Yeah, but I don't really think it's actually gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, that's why I can't. There's so many matches I can't wait for next week.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it after this after we talk about this great main event here.
yeah, but after this, we have Jericho starts throwing stuff like at the private party in Orange Cassidy, which causes a fight. Breaks out and like pull it apart.
Yeah, and
And,
he was just walking away, and they pulled him up. Orange Cassidy got pulled out, and he was just like chilling. And Jericho was just like freaking out.
and
Also,
yeah,
one thing to note was Jericho also kept bringing up Tyson. I think also he said it like
Tyson.
twice.
Mm.
And it really seemed like they just kind of scrapped that idea, but maybe, there might be a slow burn on that. Maybe they are trying to figure out something for them.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It'll be interesting with that. I don't really want to see anything between them unless it's pre-taped, like a funny little thing. But yeah.
Yeah, and after this, they have a interview with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, where where basically they say that the best friends deserve a title shot, and but not everyone just deserves a title shot at anything.
Yeah, and it was just a great interview with Hangman and Omega.
Short, it was short but sweet. Like it got off like exactly what needed to be said.
Yeah, Hangman was like, "We defeated all the best tag teams here. Like we're undefeated." And then he said, "Sure, they're great guys, but when they're in the ring with us, there's not gonna be, it's not gonna be the same or whatever."
I like that they
And
keep
then,
putting over that they're great wrestlers, but they just love them as like people. They're just like they're great
yeah,
people, but we're still gonna beat them.
because they're two faces teams, so it makes sense. I'm really hooked into this Hangman Kenny story here because I'm interested to see which one like freaks out, not freaks out, but which one turns on the other one.
Yeah.
And when that's gonna happen because it seems like I don't know. I mean, they haven't really
Saw
had
a
any.
little bit of that.
Yeah, it's not happening in the matches anymore, right? But it's happening
Yeah.
after. I mean,
Yeah,
think about
the
Revolution.
promos and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you think about Revolution, like Hangman almost did his finisher on Omega, and then it looked like Omega and the Bucks are gonna super kick Page, and then I don't know. They're kind of
Which is
slow.
saying when I was seeing all that happen back at Revolution, like my heart was like stopping like every time. I was like, "Oh, is this gonna happen? Oh no, okay, is this gonna happen?" I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I just really want to heel Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, but I don't think. I don't know if you could do that. But
That'd be really weird. I don't know how they would do it.
because with the Bullet Club, they were major heels, but like everybody liked them.
Yeah, but like currently, like how would they do it? Like
Yeah, I don't
that'd
know.
be tough.
I just feel like there's so many face tag teams that you could pull off a Bucks heel turn, but then again, what do you do with the Elite, like Cody, like Kenny? But yeah, let's get. I mean, also, didn't they announce? What did they announce after this too?
Okay, this is where they announced that next week is gonna be the tag title on the line against Private Party. And
Yeah, why didn't they announce this before that match so people were like, oh, winner gets the belt, shot at the belt. So that was one thing I kind of was like,
I
why didn't
guess
they
it's
say that?
because right after this, they announced that the AEW title match is going to be pushed off until Fight for the Fallen in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's which is fine. I mean, they announced that Fight for the Fallen's happening, so that's another that's gonna be another special show.
Yeah, and
It's
they
gonna be
also said
pay-per-view.
that this year it's going to be fundraising for a coronavirus relief, like how last
Which is
year
great.
for it.
I heard them say Tony Khan
soldiers.
and his family raised over $1 million, or not raised, they donated over $1 million to that. They're great people.
I'm assuming it's going to be on live TV, kind of like how these specials were.
Yeah, so next week is taped, which is why they couldn't pull off the Mox match. But the week after that's live. So honestly, we'll get to see it live. I'm pretty sure because I think they're doing every other week live. So
Yeah, which would be fine.
yeah, I mean, meaning that Brian Cage and Mox will be live. Yeah, I'm down for that. Because originally it would have been taped.
It's a good idea too, because it kind of gives everyone like a day to, I guess quarantine or whatever, like stay social distant.
It also gives Mox some time to kind of put some promo stuff in because he's had some promos, but I feel like this has really been just like Brian Cage and Taz talking like 80, 90%.
Yeah, because when we talk about the promo he gives, come right up next after this, Moxley definitely needs to have a promo soon to say something back from this because he pretty much got destroyed by Taz and Mike.
Yeah, he kind of, yeah. I mean, it was pretty crazy. I love Taz, and this promo made me love Taz even more.
Yeah, so after they announced that the title match is being pushed off till Fight for the Fallen, they have a Brian Cage and Taz promo where Taz starts off saying, they're not upset. And they had, but though they pulled back the curtain a bit, like what Taz says, that they had a conversation with Tony Khan, and says that the reason why this isn't happening is because Moxley cares about the well-being of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, which is good, obviously, but
I
forgot to mention Brian Cage is rocking a black polo tight, like probably an extra small, and with skinny jeans.
Which I like to point out that I think they said that JR was like, why is he wearing a shirt?
Yeah, he said if I ever look like that, I would never wear a shirt.
Which is a good point,
might
honestly.
Be his best line in a while.
It's a good point, honestly. Like, if you're coming out to stand out there with Taz for a promo, I wouldn't wear a shirt if I look like that. Like,
yeah, I would not wear a shirt either.
Gotta show off the goods, man.
Yeah, he can't. I mean, he worked out for a reason. I mean, now you're
just stay out there and be the machine.
Yeah.
But
okay, real quick though, I know he's a big Wolverine fan, and if you remember in October they do the Halloween themed. If he could, dude, I think he would look sick if he dressed up as like Wolverine.
I remember he did when he was a part of Impact for a event of some sort. I think I remember because I remember he posted something around around Halloween. I think of like last year or so, or sometime where he was dressed up as Wolverine for like a wrestling show.
Oh, I remember seeing that picture now, I think. Oh yeah, I googled it. Yep, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why he did that once. But yeah, he'll probably definitely do it again if do it in AEW. But continuing on with this promo, basically Taz just absolutely destroys him by being like, "Well, we have he's tested negative twice, and we do tests every single time we come here to do these shows, and we don't run a sloppy shop. So what's really holding them back?"
Yeah, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because for those who don't know, WWE has pretty much been exposed or caught. I mean, there's reason to believe there's pretty reliable sources that are telling sources that
people are infected.
One, a lot of people got infected, and two, it's because
they haven't been
testing. They haven't been really doing anything.
Only just recently, they've had the added in crowd wear masks.
Yeah, and basically what happened was they're in that gymnasium area, which is indoors, unlike AEW's, which is outdoors. Which we're not. We say this every week. We're not doctors. We don't know much, but we do know that when you're
inside, we have to say that not every wrestling organization has access to an outdoor amphitheater like AEW has.
Yeah, so they're lucky, but what happens is if you're indoors, there's air conditioning, and if someone has the virus, they're spreading the air. I mean, they had big fans and stuff like that, so the fans were blowing the virus like all around, and basically got
air circulation in the area.
Yeah, it infected a lot of people, and then I guess Renee was one of those people, and Renee's husband is Jon Moxley, so pretty much WWE failing to practice their rule like good conduct for this virus caused
basically directly it's directly affecting this.
Yeah, so basically they deserve the shot. I'm happy they took it, and it was
really
it was a great way to do it too.
Yeah, and basically I was just thinking was like, man, Taz is really like he was making up some good points though. I
I mean, he's not wrong,
was like,
and
I couldn't argue against them. Like, yeah, I mean, like
what are you gonna say? You can't. I
it's
mean,
like
sure, they're not wearing masks out there, but in the AEW, but they're all tested. They're all, they're everybody feels safe there. So I
yeah, it's
mean,
like at the same time, it's like yeah, it's good that he's doing it, but at the other same time, it's like Taz is making a good point.
it sucks for Moxley, man. There's been so
Yeah,
many
this
times.
situation just sucks.
No, because if you remember with Kenny Omega, he was supposed to have a match with Kenny originally, and then it got canceled because of his elbow, and then he had to get surgery, and then they pushed that back. So every every big every big match Moxley's been in, it's like something always happens. I feel like.
I don't know why. I guess he was just cursed or something because it's just so unfortunate that all this just keeps happening, especially with John Moxley.
Yeah, it's something, man. But
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I'll wait another week for it. I was really looking forward to it, but next week's still gonna be really good. Um,
The good news we know about this is that for the next 2 weeks we're gonna have the more of these specials,
oh
which
yeah,
have really delivered.
and we'll see if NXT finds a way to counter program Fight for the Fallen. We'll have to see. Because if they
Yeah,
do
that's.
that, then we know they're counter program.
I mean, it's if it isn't already obvious that they moved the show from like Thursday to Wednesday, and they had now they extended Bash the Great American Bash to next week as well. That is
Announced
pretty
1 week
obvious at this point.
before. Yeah. It's
Like it's gonna happen.
yeah, we'll have to see. It'll be funny though. I don't know what's gonna, but ratings are coming out today. It's Thursday. It'll be interesting to see how well AEW did compared to NXT because they did take a big loss. That was probably their biggest loss to NXT ever
Because I mean,
as
like
far as ratings.
AEW has been winning these like things all the time. Like they're like the number one trending on Twitter every single time they're on TV. So
Yeah. We're in a ratings war.
yeah, that just like what MJF said at the beginning of the
Not
show.
wrong. But
It isn't
yeah,
wrong.
let's okay. Let's get into this main event here. It was a fun one.
Yeah,
Started
the
off
AEW tag titles between Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page and the Best Friends.
and we started off with a funny entrance from Best
We
Friends.
have to talk about this entrance because the Best Friends, their special entrance, all these people recently have been being driven to the ring. You know, we got the Rolls Royce, we got FTR's pickup truck. What does the Best Friends got? They have Trent's mom Sue driving the Best Friends to the ring in the minivan, and Sue says, "Have fun."
Yeah, that was so funny. And Trent, got what they all left, and then his mom's like, "Come back!" And then he gave him a kiss. She gave him a kiss. So that was really funny. I was surprised his mom didn't try and run over one fence like Cody Rhodes did, and thought it was cool. But
And
um,
yeah, it's
but
like Justin Roberts on the commentary on the introduction was like being driven to the ring by Trent's mom, and I was like, oh my god,
oh man, it's perfect. It fits perfectly with their gimmick.
it really is. They're fantastic.
Yeah, and I knew this match was going to be good. And I mean, I think it could have been better. I think the ending could have been better.
Yeah, I think it could have been better.
But I mean, in reality, I really like this match.
I really like this match as well. It was just lots of course, more great teamwork from both of these teams that they know each other so well, especially like Omega and Chuck Taylor because they've had history as well in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and it just kind of it shows in their in-ring technicality.
Yeah, it was also no really like outside interference. I mean, obviously we'll get into it, but FTR showed up there
Yeah, FTR shows up with some
with the
beach chairs
beer, with the beer
and
and the
beers.
lawn chairs, which just goes perfectly with their gimmick. And they were just sitting back enjoying some tag team wrestling. But
Lots
they
of
were live
clothespins.
tweeting. They were live tweeting while watching the show, and then he added, I forget which one, but they added their partner, and they're like, yeah, we have to work on these guys because like they're not doing proper tags and stuff like that. So
That's
classic
great.
FDR.
It's
Can't
great
wait.
that they're live tweeting watching the match right there on the stage.
Yeah, I just wish I was friends with or family or friends with any of those people so I could get in to be a crowd member. I'd do it every week.
Yeah, there's lots of great close pins in this, like the the Strong Zero breakup that happened at one point. Trent hitting the awful waffle, and then and then the best friends hug at one point. There was some and really close like near falls that were like seconds away from being the end of the match.
Yeah, a lot of fun
Like,
spots. That one awful waffle, I think it was on Kenny, looked brutal.
yeah,
It
and
looked
like that,
bad.
and when Hangman hit the dead eye on Trent and he kicked out, I was really surprised by that because that move
Yeah,
was taking out everybody, and Trent just kicking out of that like in that match, it was a big time move to see it happen.
yeah. I don't know. As the match went on, I kind of felt that Hangman and Omega were gonna win.
Yeah,
Um,
that was what I was getting as well.
and I don't care either. Like I love both teams. I
Hmm.
just think eventually, sooner or later, we need to see this kind of boil over. Um,
Yeah, because
between them.
let's see, at the end of this match we have a Hangman hits the buckshot lariat and to win the match, and they retain the titles. Which yeah, we like I don't know, someone like I feel like is gonna have to beat them eventually. I don't know who it is because they've like they said in their interview they've beaten pretty much everybody.
Did they wrestle the Lucha Bros yet?
I don't think so.
You got them, FTR. I'm trying to think of anybody else, but I imagine the way it's looking, it looks like FTR might take the belts, honestly. But
I feel like whoever's gonna take it, it's gonna be like some 60-minute like marathon match, like they
yeah, I
have
hope it
against
happens
like.
at All Out. I hope there's fans on September 5th of some capacity.
Just gotta
Um,
hope everything changes.
but great match here. A lot of good spots, like we talked about. There was a crazy suplex there into the other. I forget what. I think it was Chuck suplex Kenny into Hangman or something like that on the outside. But yeah, and then we get to the end here after they win. You know,
Yeah,
FTR comes down with the beers, and we all know Kenny Omega's a milk guy, not a beer. He doesn't drink
yeah,
alcohol.
he
He's
doesn't drink
getting really
alcohol.
upset.
And he
Paige was like, "Oh yeah, sure."
also like he gesture like he has the ball in his hand, but he's like gestures to like his hands like shaking as he's trying to like take the bottle close to his lips, and then he
Yeah.
starts to pour it out.
Then he just goes out and dumps it, and you can see the facial expressions on everybody was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
And
FTR's like
how
just
dare you?
shocked.
Yeah.
They
And
were
then
really taking
obviously,
offense of this beer being poured
yeah.
out.
And then ever since then, it kind of everything started to pick up with them, shoving, talking. Then the Young Bucks come out.
And what was
Um,
interesting was that Omega was with the Young Bucks, but Hangman was with FTR.
oh, that's because they had the beer.
Yes, they did have the beer too. That's true.
I mean, if he's gonna go wherever the beer follow, or he'll follow the beer. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting. They could go a lot of ways with this. Like Hangman could join FTR. Cody kind of has not been with the Elite at all. It feels like.
He's been doing his Nightmare Family stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be some sort of someone leaving the Elite.
I just have some more ideas that are just in my head about this whole situation with like Hangman Omega having the title still. It's just that I feel like next week it should be pretty obvious that Omega and Paige are gonna win again. They're gonna be
Yeah.
Private Party. And also I just think it's just like I feel like this is another situation that we talked about one time about like a team or a person getting like this huge push and then like losing. And this is happening like again here with like the best
Yeah.
friends.
And well, see, with best friends, they're going to be always over there now. Like I
Yeah,
don't think they're buried at
they'll
all.
always be over. But this was just like a thought that I had that we like something that we talked about on here with like Brody Lee and Lance Archer.
Yeah. It's just they're in a tough spot right now. I think the crowds are also playing into a big part of that because they don't want to have some surprise wins without crowd because the crowd makes the big part of those.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're I think they're trying to be really safe with this, which I don't blame them. But
Yeah, I guess I don't blame
we'll
them.
have to see about night 2 with these matches. I mean, there's no belts on the line. I mean, the tag belts are on the line.
It's
But
like also I just kind of want to see Omega and Paige go back to being singles guys again because I
because
just
that
love
just
seeing them.
improved. Yeah, and I want Pac to come back from England, but I don't think who knows what's going to happen with the travel. But if Pac would be a huge boost to this roster too.
Oh yeah, if Pac could come back, the roster would just get elevated 10 times. Like it would be a completely like new environment almost.
Yeah, man. I'm happy. You know, the full Lucha Brothers are back.
Oh yeah,
It's, you know, as we
get to
talked
see
about.
him in action next week.
Yeah, okay. And Phoenix and Pentagon have not wrestled together on TV since who knows when. So I'm sure they're gonna do that match is gonna be nuts. I put money on it.
That 8-man tag match is gonna be insane. I already
Yeah.
have this feeling.
I'd feel bad being whoever the ref is gonna be. I assume it will be Rick Knox. He does a
Yeah,
lot of the
FCR is
tag
gonna
stuff.
take very offense of the looseness of the of the tagging going on. I bet.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of action. It'll be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited for next week. Great show wrestling on Wednesday this week. Last night. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It should be great. We got also like Orange Cassidy and Jericho blowing off. Should be great. Like that matchup, one of the most I'm looking forward to. That and that 8-man tag. So yeah, there's got a lot more things to be in store for next week. It should be maybe even better than what we've had this week.
Yeah, and then we'll have to see because they're gonna have to build a card for Fight for the Fallen next week. So we'll have to see what they do with that.
Gotta
And the
see
Puppy
what they
Bowl's
do.
next week. So
Puppy Bowls next
that
week.
either.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think that's got to do it for this week's episode of the AEW Rewind podcast. My name's Shawn Talk.
I'm Justin Bradley.
Stay tuned for next week's episode of Night 2 of Fyter Fest.